Hello everybody, it's Aaron. Welcome to another episode of SolitaryCraft. We're not really going to do anything in this episode, but I promised somebody a world download, so I figured I would do a world tour and put up the world download at the same time, and we'll just run through it real quick. I just built a thing at spawn with a link book, so when you get kicked into the world, you'll be somewhere around here. You should be able to see this thing because you'll be within a chunk or two of it. No big deal. So there are elevators. You come up, and there's a link book to the base. If you have been watching, this is where I actually started out and had all my temporary stuff. All the Mistcraft stuff is over here. There are link books in the Quarry Age, which is one I visit frequently, and also in the Deep Biofuel Age. I'm not sure about the rest of them, so bring a link book if you want to go. There's really nothing in the Quarry Age right now. The Deep Biofuel Age, I've sucked quite a bit of biofuel out of here, as you can see as the world renders, and I've replaced the pump that we had before with an endothermic pump over here, since they work for other liquids in Mistcraft ages. Occasionally when I come back from this world, everything will lock up. I don't know if that's an SMP problem or what. You may or may not have that problem in single player. So over here we've got all the industrial craft stuff. It's all hooked up to AE, so if you need to make plates or anything like that, we have interfaces for the cables, and I have one on top of the compressor for the things that we need to compress on a regular basis. I swapped out the regular generators for semi-fluid generators running on biofuel, and our dimensional anchor is also here. I've got a little potato farm that I harvest manually down there. If we come up here, these are all the solar panels that I've made. We have 10 of them. Before we get to that, there's my death point. I forgot. I killed myself to find out where spawn was. Down here in the basement is a big tank where the biofuel goes from that other age, as well as 2 boilers running on that biofuel. I moved the one boiler, if you remember, it was over here and it was crossing the chunk boundary. I moved it over a block so that it was all in the same chunk, and it still caused problems. So I moved it over there, and I haven't had a problem with it since. And those energy cells up there I found in my AE system, I just charged them up in case we needed them for anything. This is hooked up to the AE system with extra cells. So if we come back up here, there's a fluid storage monitor in the room with the molecular assembler chamber, or fluid terminal, whatever, as well as our magma crucible and both of the transposers to make whatever we need to make. I never made a tesseract recipe, but I've got it for the redstone energy cell and the conduit. And this should actually be emptying. It's probably full. I bet that's what it is. Anyhow, small oversight. I've also got both molecular transformers in here. One is running with glowstone very quickly, as you can see. The other is running with iron to iridium, not quite as fast. There's a level emitter up here so that when we have less than 72 cenarium, it sends glowstone to the molecular transformer. So we always have enough of whatever we need to make an ultimate hybrid solar panel, excuse me. And I put a couple monitors up here so I can see what we've got at a glance. It takes I think it's 19 Cenarium parts and probably right around a stack of Iridium to make one. The recipe is in here. It takes a while because you have to pulverize all the coal, make the coal chunks, and it has to make all the plates for the mixed metal ingots, advanced alloys, etc. We've also got the I/O port up here, the partition editor if you need it, and the pattern encoder. There is a fuzzy export bus, so any encoded pattern that needs to go in the molecular assembler chamber, if you throw it in AE, it'll automatically get sent to it. I think that's all that's in these rooms. Oh, I've also got the recipes for stuff on the Induction smelter. And one of these deep storage units, I forget what was in it. I had redstone source blocks showing up in it. Like, well, that's a bad example because there's so many redstone things in here. These right here. I had a stack of these in this deep storage unit. I bet that's some kind of bug. I don't know what was in it before, so I just emptied it out and set that little remote there so nothing else would fill it up. In here, we've got some chests with some random things that I never filed away. And we have our pulverizer and redstone furnace with recipes for AE stuff in them and stuff we need to get pulverized. And we're pulverizing most of the ores. I haven't run a quarry in a while, so a lot of this stuff is what we get from the laser drill, which I didn't even point out when we were downstairs, but it's down there. But those boilers are feeding into it. The redstone furnace, this is only the stuff that gets cooked. I was saving tin dust and silver for some recipe that I need them for. Well, I guess we could just walk up a level instead of flying. If we come up here, there's a big reactor, which is currently on. And I went ahead and did some bee breeding to get the valuable bees, which give us that platinum comb so we can turn it into shiny dust. I haven't done anything as far as centrifuging it or whatever. All I did was breed up to these guys. So these things will auto cycle. Everything that comes out of them automatically gets sent into this interface and goes into the AE system. Same with this one. So when you've got a stack of drones here, the extra drone will get pushed into the AE system. These guys by default, they only give one offspring, so I actually had to put a higher fertility on them. And then we've got our mutagen producer up here. The mutatron is the thing you use to breed the bees, and then this genetic sampler will take a random trait off the bee, and then you take these things and put them with the sample, or the template rather, to make it, and then you can put it on a bee here. The latch turns our reactor on and off when we reach a certain energy storage amount, and when we reach the low end as well. That's a toggle. So if you want to check out how that's set up, that might benefit you. And then I've got the two furnaces up here that come from the tree farm, turning all the logs into charcoal, and they just go to a deep storage unit right here. Up here, I just have a couple apiaries that I use. When you breed the bees in the gendustry machine, you actually get a queen. So what you have to do is throw the queen in an apiary to get the princess and drone back. I did have my valuable bees running through here because I did have the industrious and imperial bees running through the industrial apiaries. You can see we've got 3500 royal jelly and just slightly more pollen. We probably won't need much more, if any. So there are some frames up here if you need Oblivion frames to kill the queen faster. But these are also set up to auto cycle, and the excess things go into this chest. And this chest, this one is just junk bees. If I ever want to melt them down into liquid DNA, I can do so. We've got my little rubber farm up here, which the fertilizer is not on right now, but the harvester and the planter run constantly. So even if we don't have the fertilizer on, whenever the tree grows, it will get cut down. It just happens a lot faster with the fertilizer, and it's all hooked up to AE as well, except for the on-off switch for the fertilizer. There's an interface that the harvester kicks out into automatically. And I've got a forestry farm up here. It's all hooked up to AE as well, though I do have deep storage units up here for the things, since they're all connected to the system. It automatically outputs into the interface, and this export bus puts fertilizer and dirt in here. And I have one of those infinite water things from Ganny's End on an ender tank, which I was using for something else. I don't even think I'm using it anymore, but I haven't moved it. This farm is powered by Ender IO stuff. I've got just one capacitor bank here and 2 solar panels on the other side. Right here, these are photovoltaic cells, excuse me. These make 1 MJ a piece, so this farm is running on 2 MJ, and it keeps up. You saw the energy level of the capacitor bank. It's full, and I think that it fills up by noon most of the time. So that's pretty rad. It's a pretty easy way to do this. Unfortunately, these are not enough to power an MFR system, but we don't need it to do that, so that's really not an issue for us. The assembly table is over here. There is redstone running through the wall to the energy cell, so that it does not constantly draw power. But if you put something in there, it's set to, if it has work to do, the energy cell kicks on. So if you put something in, the lasers will fire up automatically. We can demonstrate that if I have any redstone. I don't have that one checked, but once we check it, it has work to do and the energy cell kicks on. I mean, it's not super fast, but it's fast enough. It's a fair amount of lasers. Let's see what we're working at. I haven't used this thing in a while and I can't. 100 MJ a tick. So I guess that's 25 lasers. Yep. So that thing works, and I don't know if there's really anything else I need to show you. No, that's really about it. Yep. Like I said, all the Mistcraft stuff is over here. Enchanting table is over here since it doesn't need to be chunk loaded, and I really rarely use it anyway. I'm still going to work on the bee thing like I was talking about in the last episode, but I figured I'd go ahead and put this up and let you guys have a copy of the world. I'll try to do a better job of putting them up. It's just hard because sometimes I record 2 or 3 episodes at a time, so I don't want to put up a world download with stuff that hasn't been put on YouTube in a video yet. So I think that'll do it for this little video. It ended up being a little longer than I thought. No big deal. If you guys tear it apart to see how I've done stuff, if you have any questions about anything, feel free to leave them in a comment. I'll do my best to answer them. And if you have any suggestions or comments, those are always welcome as well. So thank you very much for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.